Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Somers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is September 17th, 2024. Denise, would you please take the roll?
Ms. DiPolito,
Here.
Mr. Hardin,
Here.
Mr. Lansky,
Here.
Mr. Padavani,
Here.
Chairman Canestra.
Here.
Thank you.
I request everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, we're going to go right to the first item on the agenda this evening. This is the application of Jeremy Morwell and Danielle Kipnis. This is an application for a special use permit as a new owner for an accessory apartment on the second floor of a detached garage, accessory to an existing one-family dwelling in an R80 residential district at 4 North Lane, Katona. And I believe our applicant is online.
Yes, hi. I'm
Hi,
Dan-
good
yeah.
Good evening. Can you just give us your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Danielle Kipnis, 4 North Lane, Katona, New York, 10536.
Okay. And it looks like you recently purchased this property?
We did, yes. We moved in like May 31st.
Okay, and you're looking to renew the special exception use permit regarding the apartment?
That's correct.
Okay. Tom, have you been out to inspect the apartment?
I have.
Oh, I see you filled out our summary sheet here regarding the apartment checklist. It looks like the only thing that's an exception that I see is the apartment is slightly larger than the code 863, where the code allows 800, but a variance was given for that in the past.
Correct.
Am I looking at the right one here?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right. Have there been any complaints to the building department or elsewhere regarding this apartment?
There have been none.
To the applicant, do you currently have a tenant in there or have one planned?
We do not, and we don't plan to have a tenant, no.
Okay, all right. Possibly family member going to live there? Is that the idea?
Yeah, like it's kind of when guests come, that's where they stay.
Okay. Okay.
This was first granted in August of 2023, but the septic was last cleaned in 2020? Or was it approved before 23?
It was a legalization, Melissa. And the previous owner came before the board a few times, actually. And then he had to secure a building permit, so he finally got his approval for the apartment last year. Because
Okay.
he had to have an alteration permit.
That clarifies. Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any further questions of the applicant at this time?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Did you have any other comments regarding the application?
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, so we're going to open this up to the public. This, of course, is a public meeting open to public comment regarding this application. Anybody here who wishes to speak in regard to this application, we'll be happy to hear you. Just come up to the podium and the microphone. Or if there's anybody watching online, you're welcome to call in. Paul, would you just put the call-in numbers? All you have to do is call one of the numbers, put in the Zoom meeting ID number, and we'll bring you on if you have any comments. And we'll leave this open for a little bit. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Nope. Okay. So we'll just give it another minute to see if anybody online wishes to speak in regard to it. Any further discussion amongst the board? We have recently approved this, so yeah, doesn't seem to be any complaints or issues.
Yeah, and it didn't plan to be rented.
Right. The applicant, keep in mind, even if you didn't have a special exception use permit for this accessory apartment, you could still have people come over and stay with you, family and things like that. So just be aware of that. You know, there's never a prohibition on that. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Okay, Paul, do we have anybody coming on who wishes to speak?
No.
Okay, nobody there. Okay, last chance for the audience. No one here? No? Okay, any further comments from the board? For the applicant, did you have anything further?
No, I think that's all.
Okay, great. Okay, can we have a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to grant the 7-year special exception use permit for an accessory apartment?
Say we grant the special acceptance use for this particular apartment. Next 7 years.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your application is granted. Of course, as we indicated, there is a renewal 7 years from now. You still have to come back and visit us 7 years from now if you wish to extend it. Okay?
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Have a
I'll
good
be in
night.
touch, Danielle.
Okay, thank you, Denise.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Okay, we're going to go to the second item on the agenda this evening. This is of Benjamin Jared Lipton. This is an application for a proposed accessory apartment on the second floor of a proposed attached garage accessory and a height variance for a proposed attached garage to an existing one-family dwelling in an R120 residential district at 8 Lafayette Drive, Katona. Is there someone here to represent the applicant?
I am.
Hi, could you please come up, sir, and give us your name and address?
Good evening. My name is Steve Lipton. I'm the father of Ben Jared Lipton, also his legal guardian. And the address is 8 Lafayette Drive, Katona, New York, 10536.
Okay, so you're the guardian, so you're authorized to speak on behalf of the applicant in regard to this application?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Could you briefly describe your application for us? Because it looks like there's more than just a special exception use permit here.
Well, we're looking to build a 2-car garage with with a livable apartment above it. I believe we need a height variance to make the apartment an actual apartment. So that's what we're applying for. Based on what I've been told, we have the appropriate acreage, so we don't need any setbacks or anything to that effect. The only variance would be the height and the permission to have the apartment. And the reason being is my son was disabled 12 years ago in an accident. That's why my wife and I became his legal guardians once he turned 18. And we're looking for a space to have caregivers be able to stay with him because he really requires care around the clock.
I see, I see. And this application was a little confusing to me because as we mentioned before the meeting started, you're at 8 Lafayette Drive, but the site plan says Ferdinand Drive. So it was previously Ferdinand Drive.
That would be before our time. So
Okay, but that.
I trust you on that, but
Okay. Okay. All right. And I see it looks like the proposed accessory building, if we're to look at the driveway, it goes down the driveway, there's a right-hand turn into the home, but then you want to build a building at the end of the driveway, which will be a 2-car garage, am I?
correct.
Okay,
2-car garage, which would be 24 by 24. And the driveway width is approximately 24 feet. So it just kind of nicely matched the end of the driveway.
right. And Tom, could you explain to me the height variance needed here? Because obviously they're gonna have a garage, they want to put an apartment above it. What is the height variance here? I mean, are we also voting on a height variance?
Yeah, an accessory building is permitted to be 1.5 stories. The proposed is a 2-story building.
I see.
It would also be potentially, dependent on the design of the building, a height, the midpoint of the roof may exceed 15 feet, which is permitted maximum.
Okay.
The plans haven't been done yet because the applicant doesn't want to go through that expense if the application's not granted. So if it were to be considered, you might want to specify a maximum height for midpoint of the roof.
What is the applicant requesting as far as a height, or what are you thinking about as far as a required height?
You know, we didn't go to the architect yet. Whatever standard 2-story is, so I'm going to imagine it's probably 16 to 17 feet as a guess would be the height if you're making it 8 to 8.5 feet a story, plus whatever spaces in between each story.
What do you,
That would be dependent on the ceiling height of the garage space below also.
right, right. I mean, I think probably 20 feet would probably be closer to what a 2-story would be, wouldn't you think? I mean, especially for a garage. I mean, a garage has got to be at least 10 feet. tall.
It could be played with a little bit.
Okay.
With 6 ceiling height upstairs versus 8. So,
Because even garage doors, you have to have,
Clearance.
yeah, clearance above for garage door openers and things like that. And I'm just thinking about garage. I'm thinking it's got to be at least 9, 10 feet, wouldn't you think?
there's a lot of 8-foot.
Are they really?
Yeah, garage doors 7'6", which gives room.
Okay.
I
Okay,
don't know what the standard is, but I know my current garage is not 10 feet.
okay. And then, of course, there's the joist between
Right.
garage and the first on the top floor. Okay, and then we're talking about a midpoint on a roof, right? We're gonna have a peaked roof, so that's gonna be higher than the walking, if you have to have, let's say, a 7-foot
Again, that would dependent upon the pitch.
On the pitch, right.
So a lot of it's, if it were to be considered, I would put some guidelines on what the maximum height the board's willing to.
So the board would have to come up with something that we think.
Should that,
Or if the rest of it goes favorable, maybe the applicant can come back next month with some renderings of a plan.
Yeah, because we're kind of approving blind, so to speak.
Mhm.
Not intending to, sorry to interrupt, not intending for you to approve blind. I understand we'd have to come back with constraints set by the board, but at least we wanted to have that it was favorable to move forward before expending the expense of the architectural plans,
Sure.
subject to constraints dictated.
Is the existing house 2 stories?
Correct.
It is. Okay, so the existing house would definitely be taller than this building.
Yeah, principal building is allowed to be 2.5 stories.
Right.
This is 1.5 for
Okay, so
accessory.
that makes sense. So we don't have a garage that's like this and a house like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would look odd, I would think. I also see that you are on a R120 lot, which is 120,000 square feet. So that's almost 3 acres, or that's the zoning for it.
We're like 5.25
Like 5.25. Okay.
roughly.
Okay. Okay. How close is this home and the garage to the adjoining neighbor? Like on the driveway side? You see your neighbor's home?
I can see it, but we're not close. I don't know the exact distance, but where driveway is, my fence clearly, my fence far extends the driveway on the direction of my neighbor's house. So now my property line is probably 30 feet from the end of the driveway, if I had to guess.
Tom, I know this is a newer subdivision, which sometimes have rules and regulations when you buy into the neighborhood of what you can and cannot do. Is there anything in those that prohibits?
I don't believe you have an HOA. Am I mistaken?
I don't believe there's an HOA.
Not an HOA,
And-
but it is like when you're buying property and building on the land, and I think covenants run with the land of what you can and cannot do on the property.
Restricted deed? Not that-
the planning board may have
Depending
proposed something during the
on their
subdivision.
site plan.
Well, yeah, I'm not aware. I did not research that. I'm not aware if something like that exists.
I would say I'm empathetic to the application based upon the circumstances, and I would be in favor of a special exception use permit, which was conditioned on those circumstances. So that it be used for family and staff who are taking care of family. Because this kind of opens the door to the whole code is about before 1996 and what have you. So I think I'd feel more comfortable rather than having open door that if it was conditioned in that way based upon this gentleman's circumstances.
I think that's a very good point, because anybody could then come before the board and say, okay, I want to build a garage and accessory apartment. You approved them before, and this is for structures prior to 1992. So yes,
Yeah.
excellent point.
How does that work out if that's not followed?
That
The-
building department,
Yeah, but is there gonna be something if gotcha.
The permit would be
Yeah,
basically
it's gonna-
rescinded if they don't comply with it. If they started renting it out to somebody else, then
like any other.
Or if they
Permit.
chose to rent it out, they'd come back before the board and seek that
They,
back and ask.
limitation to be removed from.
So we're gonna make that a part of the variance?
It's just
yeah,
Yeah, right now.
yeah, well, that would be my proposal, which would be, he come back next month, that we give him some guidance, and that any special exception use permit be conditioned upon that. And then if there ever comes a time that the town needs to do enforcement, they have that ability.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm certainly sympathetic to the applicant because of the caretaker needed for the son. So yeah, I think that is a pretty good reason that we would do an exception, because I could tell you normally this type of an application would not be accepted. I would normally not vote for it because the code only allows structures built before 1992. So the board here has to make a determination as to whether your circumstances are significant enough that we would vary from that. And,
I
4 out of
appreciate
5 votes here,
Patient.
yeah, in your favor or against you, the decision here. So, okay. So we're talking about possibly conditioning the
Yeah.
approval if we were to proceed with an approval.
But we would get plans first, so I think all we can do is give him feedback onto how we might vote. And then he would have to make the investment in plans, and because it's not an open check that he can bring anything in. So, keep it, if you have an architect and you keep it in context with the size of the house, right, and it looks appropriate on the street, that's much more likely to be accepted. And then, based upon the circumstances, I would feel that it would be a valid application, and I can't speak for anyone else.
I would go along with that. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
the,
don't think we should make the particular situation that the gentleman finds himself in part of the variance, though.
I think, well, he'd be asking for, you're right, it is a variance, and then a special exception use permit, but a variance was something which is gonna run with the property.
Right.
Right, and so I would make it just a condition of the permit versus.
Correct. Just part of the property.
Yeah, part of the permit, and therefore, every 7 years it has to be renewed, and if there's any
Correct.
changed circumstances,
Correct.
that's how I would feel.
okay. So your proposal in general is to build a 1-bedroom apartment up there
Correct.
with a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom. Of course, the bathroom would have to be plumbed out and they would have to be to the septic fields on the property.
Yes.
I don't know if you know, Tom, but is the septic sufficient to take another bedroom onto this?
This is the accessory apartment is dependent on Board of Health approval. They
Okay,
will not get a building permit without an approval from the health department.
okay.
If we needed additional septic, that would be one of the things we would have to add, but we're willing to do that as long as it's not cost prohibitive.
Right.
Then the whole project goes by.
Yeah, because septic is, a septic is always driven by number of number of bedrooms, not bathrooms.
Could even condition the approval if you wish on Board of Health approval.
I think that kind of goes.
Yeah, it is.
Code book said, it does.
No permit
but,
without it.
Well, yes, what would that do to the height variance, though? Would that be conditioned on Board of Health approval?
Well,
Want to see plans
Yeah.
before we approve a height variance.
Right, but you're issuing, you're
Yeah, so-
considering a special exception use permit and a.
And a height variance.
Yes.
yeah, so
So they have to be separated, kind of, and.
Two
we
applications.
would do two votes. And the height variance,
Right.
he tell us he has a
Variance.
proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is just a condition on the permit.
Right.
That would be my recommendation.
So I guess the applicant is just looking for input from us as to whether we would consider this application. So, I mean, maybe we should go through each board member. I personally would feel that I would approve this application. It's an exception. Normally, I would not approve this application, but because of the circumstances, and I would certainly only approve it if it was conditioned upon these circumstances, meaning because of your handicapped son, aides are needed and, to have them live on property. I certainly understand that. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But, we certainly don't want to open the door to everybody in town all of a sudden deciding they're going to put up a garage and accessory apartment on their property and rent them out. That's not the,
Well,
Kind of the code.
I wouldn't want all my neighbors having party houses on.
well, accessory apartment. It's, you're turning a one-family neighborhood then, in single
Into a
one-family.
multifamily.
That's not the zoning for the code. That's not what people bought into this neighborhood for.
I would prefer to have the restriction, to be honest with you.
Right.
That would just,
Right.
like, this way other people can't emulate for
Yes.
various reasons.
Right. And, one of the reasons the code has the 1992 date in there is that they didn't want to encourage builders to be building two-family residences. Somers is primarily a single-family residential community, so that's the reason for the code. But, okay. So what do the other members think? So we can because I'm only one vote of 5. You need 4 votes.
Do we want to hear from the audience
Now, we probably should do that too.
before we
Yeah.
make our decisions?
Okay. All right. How about we do that? So Paul, let's open this up for public opinion, public comment. Also, I'll ask, does anyone here wish to speak in regard to this application? No? Okay, so it doesn't seem like anybody in the audience wishes to speak. So we'll just leave this up on the screen for a minute, just see if anybody wishes to call in. Once again, you should have to call in using one of the numbers on the screen, put in the Zoom meeting ID number, and you can come on with us. Do any board members have further questions for the? I think plans would definitely.
Yeah, plans and an elevation that someone's gonna see from the front of the house by the street, so they know what it looks like in context with the house. That's gonna go a lot towards the height for me.
And you haven't had any comments from neighbors regarding the application or?
No.
Okay, because all your neighbors in the area would have been notified, obviously, of your pending application, so.
Yeah, remember, I had to give them a bunch of stamps. I know.
Right. Okay, did you have anything further to say in regard to the application?
No, just that I appreciate everybody's consideration.
Okay, thank you. All right, Paul, Denise, do we have anybody coming on?
No,
Okay, all right, let's close it down. Okay, I've already given my comments. How about other members of the board? What do you think to give the applicant some guidance?
I would be in support of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think Barb brought up a great point. I'm also sympathetic and I would support it.
Me as well.
So I think you'll have to come back with us
And-
with plans that we can see what we're doing. So we're creating something without seeing it.
I expected that. I knew this wasn't a final,
Right.
come here with a wish list and say, get it approved, build what you want. I didn't think that was the protocol, but I needed a first step. This is my first experience, so
I think
I'm learning.
I'm in favor. I mean, I don't know tonight if we could bifurcate this because we could separate out the special exception use permit to give courage to get plans with conditions and then have it come back before us for the height discussion.
Which is
I
what
prefer
you're
to see
gonna
it
do
all.
anyway,
Exactly.
from what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah, I almost think we have to see it together, but I think you're getting a good feel that I think we would. Now, of course, if you come back with a 40-foot high ceiling and
Yeah.
1,000 foot,
But
accessory apartment,
judging by the rhetoric, I'm gonna tell the architect to do it as small as possible.
uh,
You know, my best,
I-
best chance
have-
of being approved is
I mean,
as low as he can go.
but there's a range here. It's 300 to 800 square feet. I'm sure if you stay within that range, I
Yeah,
think what's
you're gonna
proposed
be
is
in good shape.
576. You're okay, but I'm just saying is, I don't think we're giving you carte blanche to do anything. You still got to stay within the code. And, the roof height, would we prefer, a 20-foot as opposed to a 30-foot? Slight, yes.
I understand.
When we grant variances, we try to grant the minimum variance. So, yeah.
But any architect, a licensed architect would know this.
Yeah, and I'd prefer it to match the house to some degree in
Yeah.
terms of pitch and.
I agree with that aesthetic. That's
Yeah, we
I
want.
would not use an architect because otherwise it looked like a square box that stood out.
Yeah, siding, roofing, the more you can make it look consistent, the more it looks like one uniform property and right.
Home
That
was built all together. That's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
wish list.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Any further comments? No? No.
Thank you.
All right.
Well,
Thank you, sir. So everyone should probably retain this application for our future meeting, just so we have some of the material.
Yeah, please do that.
Yep.
At this point, I don't know how quickly Mr. Lipton can get architectural plans, but we're looking at November at the very earliest at this point, or December. So if you could hang on to those, or if you don't want that responsibility, give the whole packet for 8 Lafayette to Tommy and he'll give it to me and I will take care of
Thank you,
those.
Denise.
Except of course, the members that are missing have them on their possession, so.
All right.
Use him as a reservoir.
Denise is basically saying, Tom, you're more responsible than us, which is probably
No,
true.
I am. I just
Yep.
need him I need him to deliver them to my desk.
All right.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Denise, without you, we'd have chaos, that's for sure. Okay. All right, so let's go on to the third item on the agenda this evening. This is the application of Brandon and Michelle Surio. This is an application for a side yard area variance to construct a front yard porch addition to an existing one-family dwelling in an R40 residential district at 15 Meadow Park Road, Baldwin Place. Someone here to represent the applicant? If you could please come up, sir, and give us your name and address.
Good evening, guys. I'm Brandon Serio at 15 Meadow Park Road, Baldwin Place, New York.
Okay, and I know I read some description, but could you give us just kind of a little summary of the application, what you're looking for, what you're asking here?
Yes, I'm asking for a variance for our left side yard as you look at the building. It exists as 21.7 feet, where the zoning setback requirement for minimum side yard is 30 feet. We are seeking that 8.3 feet for the variance for our front porch entry addition. As you see the lot, we are restricted on both sides. We have about a 75-foot gas easement on our right and a 20-foot drainage easement on the left. So, you could see that there's nowhere left or right that we can improve our property. So when we purchased the house, it was designed as a colonial, leaving space above the first floor windows and below the second floor windows for a front porch, but that was never built. If we set the porch to the 30-foot side yard, it would architecturally unbalance what is a center hall design. This is why we feel that the full length of the house is what the house is calling for. We feel it'll be a great improvement to the curb appeal of our property.
Oh, I see. At first I didn't understand, but you're right. You want to have the porch go along the whole front of the house. So obviously it's going to go into the setback area. So,
Right.
okay, I see what you're saying here. Yep.
Are you coming farther out than the existing ramp? Or is that, or are you doing the same?
The same,
Same.
same, yeah.
Are you coming out farther than the existing house so that you're to reduce the 21.7 by another 8?
I think
No,
he's
Oh,
got,
I see.
so he's got this, that there, and that is where his porch is gonna be.
So he's already
So-
8,
And, but it's gonna go, but it's the length of the house, so it's gonna go out to here and there, so he's gonna be into the side yard here.
Because
the house has an.
Yeah, the house is already,
house
so
encroaches.
we're not going further and
Uh,
not coming further front, he's keeping it in line.
Okay.
And, it does look like an architectural improvement. For sure.
I should bring to everybody's attention something that was added to your packet this evening.
Oh, yeah.
There's a letter here from the engineering department here in town dated July 24th. See here, I'm just going to briefly read it. Brief review of the materials submitted with the subject determination has revealed that there is no environmental permits will be required for the construction of the front porch shown on the submitted plans. Please be advised that if the underground propane tank requires relocation, it cannot be installed in the drainage easement. Where do you have an underground propane tank?
It's 20 feet from the house, on the, like, almost directly on the left corner of the house, the left front corner.
Is it in that setback area?
The setback would,
Well, is it in that drainage easement?
no,
Oh, no, it is not. Okay.
no,
So they're making it very clear it cannot be installed.
yeah. Yeah, before we installed that would, Tommy had said, don't, you can't have it. And then we were figuring out where we could put it. And he said, if it's gonna go in the front, can't be in the drainage easement. So
There's a propane tank for,
heating,
oh,
hot water,
okay,
gas stove, gas driver.
okay. Now, the letter continues on. This office recommends that erosion control measures be installed if necessary, if any part of this application are revised as a result of the process. To issue a building permit, the revised sketch must be resubmitted to this office for verification of compliance to the original determination. Zoning compliance will be verified by the building department. Okay.
Non sequitur, but you have the gas line right there. And you have a propane tank? How did that? You don't have access to the gas line?
What gas line? On the street?
No, it looks like there's an easement
Transmission.
coming,
Oh.
coming right down your property.
No, I can't get it. No.
Yeah.
I asked them.
And you don't
I
have,
can't,
that's what I was curious about.
no, I can't tap in.
Lines that run through Somers and
And they don't-
no access to gas to Somers. Yes.
Yeah.
that was,
Not a good.
That was-
I don't know. I don't,
yeah, that's the thing.
I don't get that.
Trust me, before I went with the propane, I asked them,
Okay.
can I tap into this? And they said, no.
Yeah, because there's like a huge gas main I know running through Greenbrier all there
Yeah,
and nobody has gas.
There's parts of town that have natural gas to preserve
Mhm.
development.
Okay,
Portions of Heritage Hills, the last few built condos are natural gas.
have access, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and then Route 6, the commercial buildings on Route 6.
yeah. Yeah, Bart is asking a logical question as to why,
Yeah.
obviously, but logic is not following what's going on here. Okay. Okay. So the only thing you're asking for variance for the front porch, there's no front yard variance needed. Here. Got plenty of room there. Okay. So you're looking for an 8 foot, looks like 8 foot 5 inch variance for the front porch. Right? If you're 21.7,
Yeah, 8,
21 feet 7 inches.
7, yep.
Right, okay.
How close is your nearest dwelling neighbor?
I mean, his driveway's, I don't know, the 20-foot drainage easement happens in my line, right where that starts to the house. And then right after the line, there's probably, I don't know, 5 feet to his driveway. So,
It's actually a little line there. It says macadam driveway, so you can see it.
yeah.
It's kind of measured out there. Okay.
And neighbor to the right is obviously further because of that gas
Yes.
easement, yeah.
Any other issues that you see here, Tommy, with this application?
No.
No, other than that? Okay.
Structure's already there, 610 to the other side. Coming out past it's, and it's obviously it will look better,
Yeah,
and it's facing the road, right?
it seems like it's an attractive,
Close, it'd be
attractive improvement.
It's a thoughtful addition.
If the house wasn't in the setback, this wouldn't even be an issue.
Right. Right. All right, maybe we should open this up to public comment and then we can discuss further. So once again, Denise, Paul, can you put the numbers up on the screen? Is there anybody here in the audience who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Any comments? Okay. No one here. Once again, numbers are up on the screen. Please put in the Zoom meeting ID number. We'll be happy to bring you on. How big is the porch? I'm sure it's on the plans here, but from the house to the edge of the porch, how wide is it?
Oh, width?
Yes, width.
It's the width of the house. What is?
No, I mean,
Okay, from-
yeah, no, how big is the porch?
10-foot.
Depth, 10'8".
Okay. And then, of course, it's the whole length of the house.
Yeah,
It's 10,
right.
10'8" wide or
Right,
deep, so to speak. Yeah.
deep.
There's nobody on the phone.
Okay, Denise, thank you. Okay, any further comments from the board? Any questions, issues?
No,
Sir, is the applicant, anything else you wish to say at this point in time?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, I think it's time to vote. Can I have a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Patavoni,
Aye.
Mr. Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to grant the 8-foot, 5-inch variance for this front porch?
Make a motion to grant the 8-foot side yard variance to allow the front porch as submitted.
I second.
It's technically 8 feet, 5 inches.
It's 8'3" here on the page 5. See?
Yeah, I don't know if that's 21.7 feet or if it's 21 feet, 7 inches.
21 foot 7 inches.
Okay, so that means the variance for 30 feet would be 8 feet, 5 inches, if my math is right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's what technically we'd
Yeah.
be granting.
Yeah.
right,
You would
If we
find-
grant the wrong thing and then you have to come back to see us again,
correct.
you know? You might like us, but not that much. Okay,
5,
okay.
the record.
Melissa, are you willing to modify your,
Yes. Modify. I will make a motion to grant the side yard variance for 8.5 feet to allow the front porch as submitted.
I second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Patavoni,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
aye.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, congratulations. Your application has been granted.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck with the porch.
Next page.
What?
Okay,
You always need a little play.
we're going to go to item 4 on the agenda. This is the application of Joseph Casella
Oh, are these for the both of you? Did you get them?
and Anwar Gallego. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names.
They are-
This is an application for a side yard and rear yard area variance. The to legalize an existing deck to an existing one-family dwelling in an R10 residential district at 24 Miller Avenue, Yorktown Heights. Someone here to represent the applicant?
She is.
Hi, if you could give us your name and address, please. When ready, obviously.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Fox. I'm the architect for 24 Miller Avenue. Do you need my address or just the property?
No, that's fine.
So
If
Uh,
you
the-
briefly describe the application, what you're asking for and why you feel it's necessary.
certainly. So the homeowner was a first-time homeowner and during COVID built a 12-foot by approximately 26-foot deck to replace a concrete stair and stoop that was in disrepair. Although ignorance is not a, but that is, they were unaware of the requirements of the town and built the deck without a permit. As it exists now, an 8.8-foot side yard variance is required. 15 feet is required and 6.2 feet is provided. And also a 14.5-foot rear yard variance is requested where 25 feet is required and 10.5 feet is provided. The site itself is unique in that it is bordered on 3 sides by streets. If I go over there, will it still?
Yes, could you, if you could just kind of move the microphone around? Yeah, so yeah, actually the top of it moved over, yeah. Just so they can hear you online.
Gotcha. So as you can see, we have Miller Avenue, which is the main road, North Drive, and then there is an undeveloped road, Griffin Place. According to the code, technically, I guess the house fronts on Miller Avenue, and this would be considered the front yard. But the actual access to the house is on the side here along the undeveloped Griffin Place Road. So that was where the existing stoop was, and that's where the deck was built. The house itself is a existing non-conforming structure. The red line on this drawing represents the building envelope. You can see that the northwest corner and pretty much the entire rear wall of the house encroaches into the required setbacks. Because of this, any addition to the residence on the north side would require a variance. I can say in your packet, I gave you some pictures of what the old stoop looks like, and then you can see that the new deck is a marked improvement over what was existing. I've inspected the deck. It's really a well-built structure. They did take great care in building it, and they used really nice materials. So the house itself is a very modest house. It's just over 1,000 square feet. So in addition to providing the necessary access to the house itself, it also provides a little bit of more space for outdoor living space. And again, since it was done during COVID, that was something that was very much desired at the time, and still is.
Who built the deck? Do we know?
The homeowner.
The homeowner built it themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna, okay.
Truly,
Yeah.
it's a COVID project.
There's no contractor to blame for this.
Okay, because contractors usually know you got to get permits before you start banging nails,
Exactly.
so, yeah,
Blame for this one.
okay.
Um,
Are the footings sufficiently down where they are supposed to be below frost line?
yes, I had him excavate the footings and I inspected them and they're actually beyond what's necessary.
Okay,
And actually greater than what's necessary.
okay, and the deck is lag bolted to the house for security, so it's not
Oh,
gonna,
actually, no. So it's actually a freestanding deck.
okay,
So it's got two. It actually has 2 rows of structure. So we have the front here and just off the house, we have a layer of structure. So technically it's considered freestanding. It's not attached.
so it could support it can support itself, so to
Sure.
speak.
There's no extra strain on the house or anything like that.
So we did a good job except for the permit part.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay, okay.
And then just go to get back to the site itself. It is very well screened, from the neighbors and things. You can see that there's trees along the, I guess you call it the west property line here and fencing. And obviously there's a very, the undeveloped road is a big buffer from the neighbor to the north as well, which is where the majority of the view is of the deck.
Where is the driveway coming onto this property?
Technically, there's no driveway. There is,
Where do they park a car?
so they park on Griffin Place. And then there's also an access, there's no developed driveway, but there's, I guess, a gap in the fence along North Avenue.
Like a paper,
But they utilize, both homes utilize Griffin Place.
So there's
And-
other homes off of
Both
Griffin
homes?
Place.
What, where?
So there's one home here, and then where the north arrow is, there's another parcel there.
Oh.
Oh.
And there's a home on that parcel?
And Griffin Place continues?
No, it stops here and then Shadow Lane doesn't go all the way through because the North Drive comes around and then Shadow Lane.
Cuts it off?
And actually, I did contact the town, on the.
Speaking to the microphone.
Oh, sorry, I did contact the town on the onset of this, find out if there was a possibility of actually purchasing Griffin Place, and they told me. Because the homeowner would have been willing to do that to try to alleviate the situation,
You almost have a shared driveway with the neighbor.
Right.
pretty much.
Okay,
But it's not owned by them, it's owned by the town.
it's owned by the town. Yeah, I couldn't tell you why the town would or would not approve.
They
You
just
know anything about that, Tom?
They
And
just
it's
have-
lots of reasons. They
Oh.
want to use drainage or
Right.
future.
Got to be some other reason there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Wow,
and this deck entrance is the main entrance to this house?
Yes. So the main entrance to the house. This is a walkway to that area on Griffin Place. This is the new deck and this is the front door. Right here. And this is the living room.
So the front door is off the deck.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what this was, right? You would have to walk into
Oh.
the front door. So he took that out and put the deck where that was.
Right, right.
So Griffin Place is a street?
It's a undeveloped
street.
street.
Yeah, I'm asking just because maybe that's the front yard. If it's a street, maybe that's a front yard. Not that, I don't know what that would actually mean to the application, but if that's the way they're coming in, maybe that's helpful.
Existing gravel driveway, yeah. So it's gravel there.
There's the gravel
Yeah.
there.
I guess,
I don't know who puts the gravel there.
On Griffin, there's gravel.
And
Or is that what we're saying? On Griffin,
Yeah.
there's gravel?
And the deck location, is it in the same projection amount as the old concrete deck? It's larger.
The stoop. is a- Well, that was before my time. But just based on the pictures, it looks like the stoop was maybe, 4 feet and then you had some stairs going down. So the depth of the deck is 12 feet. And again, that was done to sort of improve their quality of life and have a little exterior living space.
this previous front entranceway or stoop doesn't look too great.
Well, that was, I think, also
That was the intent of replacing it and putting in the deck.
Right. when they purchased the home, it had been a rental property. And so was kind of in
Right.
disrepair. So they've been sort of just doing some fixes. They painted it, and just, cleaned up the yard kind of things in addition to the,
Yeah, I mean, the homeowner has to realize too that we obviously prefer the permits first and the building second.
of course.
Obviously.
They've been educated.
Because I mean, technically, if the board doesn't approve this,
They have to take it down.
exactly. So, homeowners have to be aware of this, that this is not something the board likes to see, and, there have been instances where people have had to take down things.
Understood.
So, yeah, so just be, just have to make that comment, so, yeah. Okay.
My preference would be to know if the neighbor, who's the one staring at this, has an issue. if that's something we can find out. I don't know if they,
I'm sorry, could you?
has there been any conversation with the neighbor? Right, there's probably only one person who's looking at this besides the homeowner. Has there been any conversation with, do they object to the application or do we know?
No, I think they have a very good relationship with their neighbors, and the deck has been in place for 4 years, so.
And there's been no letter to the town, Tommy, there's been no,
This came to me voluntarily.
okay.
They,
Why did this application come up? What caused it?
I think, again, they were first-time homeowners, and then I think through conversations with family and friends, they realized that, oh, you didn't get a permit? And they said, no, we didn't get a permit. And so they realized, oh, I better get a permit. So now they're trying to do the right thing, although I understand it's on the backside.
Right, because, banks won't approve financing if you have something built on your house with C of Os and things like that.
Right. Well, I don't think that they're looking at it for that. Like I said, I think that they realized it was an oversight.
They got to clean,
And
yeah, selling the property,
no,
yeah, anything.
nope.
All right, maybe we should open this up to the public. Maybe the neighbor
Yeah.
will speak in regard to it. Okay, so Denise and Paul, let's open this up to the public online and see if anybody has any comments. Obviously, all the neighbors have been notified in regard to this application. Is there anybody here present who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Nope. Okay, nobody in the audience wishes to speak. All right, so what do the board members think about this?
It's an obvious proof of what was there,
I think it is an obvious improvement, yeah.
and it's their way into the house. I agree with you. Like,
It is a variance larger than needed to be given to create a better entryway.
Right.
true.
So let me ask you, the steps that come up to the deck, how wide are those steps, approximate? I haven't looked into detail on the plans. I'm trying to visualize.
There's, what's,
They look
Six-
like, look 6
Why?
feet.
Okay, so they're 6 foot wide, and then when you reach the deck, okay, the stairs go to the deck, and then there's some deck on each side. How wide is the deck there?
12 feet.
12 feet. Okay, so there's 3 feet on 3 feet on each side, and then it goes along the front, I guess, of the house, we'll call it, and then there's some steps down on the other side.
Yeah, to access the backyard.
Okay.
Because right at the bottom of that stair, the back stair is the door to the basement.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, I see.
okay,
Okay.
coming, but now.
Right. And is that the only entrance into the house?
No, so there's a small portico, on the other side, but that,
And once again, just try to speak into the microphone.
but that also actually is in disrepair. And, they realized that's gonna be something else that, but they will get permits for that one. And probably a variance, but, if necessary, but,
So there is another means of egress out of the house?
well, but it's through a bedroom space, so it's not really.
Yeah. I know this is pre-existing, Tom. Is there any issue with that? Not having a second form of egress out of the house?
A building needs to conform to the code at the time of permit issuance. I don't even know what this building dates back to.
Yeah, this is probably back.
Or what the code was at that time
Right.
for egress.
Right.
The only thing that I can say though is that, given the age of the home, the windows are actually pretty large.
Right.
So I don't know, I haven't measured them to see if they meet, egress requirements in that regard, but.
And that won't be done unless they propose an alteration or extension.
Right.
That wasn't part of my scope.
Right.
What is the age of the home?
Pardon me?
What's the age of the home?
Do you know when it was built? 1920s?
Okay.
The survey is 1959, so.
Okay.
And obviously, I think originally it was built as a summer bungalow.
A lot of the homes they're on smaller lots and yeah, these are smaller lots. I realize,
Miller Avenue was probably the driveway.
yeah.
That's why there is none
Mm.
now. A lot of the lake communities, the homes don't have
Yeah.
off-street parking.
Right.
Was
Griffin Place, you're in a dead end. It's kind of like you got your own parking lot there, right? I don't know if they can legally park there, but I mean.
Until this town says otherwise.
Okay, Denise, Paul, we didn't have anybody who logged on to make any comments in regard to the application?
No,
Okay, last chance for anybody here in the audience that wishes to speak in regard to the application? Okay. So, let's see here. Okay, so the applicant is asking for an 8.8-foot side variance where 15 feet is required and a 6.2 feet is provided and a 14.5-foot rear yard variance. Okay. Where 25 feet is required. Okay. All right, comments from board members? What do we think here?
Well, in this neighborhood, the variance for going towards the other homes or the property are prevalent, right? To say the least.
And it's a non-conforming neighborhood, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
I mean, even the houses itself is inside that variance.
Yeah, I would wonder from Tommy's opinion about whether Griffin Place is the front yard.
the code states the front yard is where the house fronts. My interpretation would be the front door. I was under the impression that the house fronted Miller Avenue.
I don't see that.
Are you
plan.
changing that impression?
Yeah.
Well, now it almost looks like
Well,
place, but
I've learned otherwise sitting here the last.
yeah.
couple
I mean, it's very odd. I've never seen the entrance to a house basically coming onto a deck and then going into the house, but you know, it's just very unusual. And this lot, if I'm reading this correctly, is this lot almost 25,000 square feet?
Yes,
Okay, because this is an R10 district, which is usually 10,000 square feet or minimum. So this lot's more than twice the size. Yeah, okay. Because I was going to say, there's a lot of room in other directions to build and do things.
Or the door.
but the way that the house was located originally, I think it was originally located that the property would probably be subdivided and it just never was.
Right.
So they tucked the house all the way into that corner, which makes, and both sides of it are non-conforming and
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah, because there's so many other places the house could have gone. Obviously, it's not
Right.
relevant, but I'm just, yeah.
I mean, it looks
The-
to me like the house faces on Griffin Place,
It's,
doesn't exist.
would you say the house fronts Miller Avenue?
yeah, I would say, just because, again, it's like,
But
if you look at the photos, you know, I mean, you have, first of all, the house is so modest in size in itself, right? So yes, don't get me wrong, there's a front door on Griffin Place, but the length of the house is along Miller Avenue.
Most of the house, yeah,
Most of the,
you could see it from
Right.
Miller Avenue. I could almost see how
you know, so to me, it fronts Miller Avenue.
you only have a side door entrance to the house.
For the side door, right, exactly. You know, would it make sense to put an entrance in, you know, on that front elevation? Sure, but, you know, I didn't design it. So,
Yeah, it's pre-existing, so we understand it's an odd situation. Yeah, that's right. That would be, yeah.
Where the door should.
I've seen.
Should be.
but
Oh, is that little bump
chimney
out on the plan here? Yeah,
in
chimney.
front of houses?
What was that?
I've seen chimneys in house fronts.
The front, yeah.
Mm.
All right, so we have to work with what we have to work with. So the question before us, I mean, you know, the previous entryway would have also been non-conforming, you know, but it was pre-existing and it looked terrible. You know, is this an improvement? Probably. You know, I'm looking at the picture of the deck going on to the, you know, it's
I guess
maybe bigger, as Melissa said, maybe this is bigger than we would have approved originally, but I don't know, it's fronting on this undeveloped Griffin Place.
I think Ms. Fox has made a nice application, and I would say that we likely would have given this more scrutiny, and I don't want to cause hardship to the applicant. And so I'm left with knowing, having curiosity to make sure that it's not offensive to the neighbors, and and that's the only thing which is stuck in my head.
Right. Now, the neighbors would have received a notice of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they certainly could have been here or commented or sent a letter. To Denise and Tom in the building department, have we gotten any correspondence or have there been any phone calls from this neighbor off of Griffin Place or anyone else in regard to this application? Have there been any questions, comments, issues?
I have received none.
Me neither.
You haven't received anything?
And
Okay.
Bart, to your point, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
So
So
if the neighbor was really up, we've had a lot of neighbors. We've
yeah.
had a lot of issues over 2 weeks, let alone 4 years.
So
So
It's kind of a good point.
Heard
So-
something.
and
we would
that's
be here.
that's fair. The only other thing I would say is if Tommy is saying that this is side yard, then we're granting the right variance.
Right, I understand your point.
Right.
I don't know how to rectify.
Well, it's his interpretation, and
Okay.
we're welcome to accept his interpretation. And if he's saying that that's the side yard, then we can grant a side yard variance for it. If he says it's the front yard, then then we have to, the applicant would either have to ask for determination that it's from us to overrule him, or we accept his interpretation.
You know, I think the position also here is that most of the house faces Miller.
Right.
And I think also if, you know, the way this entrance that goes onto the deck, if you look at where the stairs reach the deck, maybe that's the entrance to the house that also faces Miller. So I think that would be my position, that I almost think that, yeah, I think Miller is a reasonable front yard.
Well, I can't really speak on the design intent, but I would just, based on my experience, when you present a larger stair like that, it's so that people realize where your front of your house is. And so I think that perhaps was the design intent with the wider stair to say, okay, this is where you come in, because as you know, you have this expansive property to the left, and it's like, well, where's the front door?
And your
Because it's-
client was considering that when they built the deck 4 years ago.
It's something I might consider during the design process.
I mean, they could have put the stairs on the side of the property, but they decided to put it off Miller Avenue, you know, facing Miller Avenue.
Facing Miller, because that's.
I think it's reasonable, so.
Yeah.
Any further comments from board members? Any further discussion? Does the applicant, architect, have any further comments before we vote on this application?
No, I think that just the only thing is I understand that the depth of the deck may be larger. But to be honest, a 12-foot deck is not really, I would consider, abundant. You know, I mean, in order to have any sort, considering that it's really the main circulation space to the front door, you need a little bit extra width there. If you actually want to put a chair or a table or something like that, just because the majority of that space is used for circulation. So that's why probably they made it a little bit, deeper.
Right.
I'm good.
Okay. Any further comments from the board? Okay. I mean, before we vote, the only thing I want to just reiterate is that I certainly wouldn't want to see this property before us again with another construction project that hasn't been approved
Of course,
previously, because that will probably not go over well,
understood,
even if it's justified, because, there's a proper procedures we have to follow, for all.
understood.
So, okay, thank you. Okay, I think it's time to vote. Can I have a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
That, second,
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Harden,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to grant the application. One other consideration that I just want to bring up here is, we could require the applicant to put screening on that Griffin Place side if we wanted shrubs or something like that, if we think it's an issue. But on the other hand, the neighbor hasn't complained. And it's a gravel road anyway. I don't,
Well, technically, the Griffin Places doesn't exist
Well, it's a
because town has not chosen to pave it.
it's a paper road, so
Right.
it's on paper, but yeah, that's it.
And there is a significant amount of foliage there already,
Right.
because the road does stop and then it's sort of undeveloped, so it's,
Right. And there's only one other house on Griffin Road, right? On Griffin Place here on the other side?
well, I would say that it's probably on Miller Avenue, but yes, it's on the,
It's on the other side of the,
It too has a side door.
right. I'm not sure where you get in that house, into that house.
all right. All right, we've already,
No, I agree. If we had a neighbor who was making a complaint, the buffer. should
That would be.
then we could put in some evergreen or something like that,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm digressing here. Okay, so can we have a motion as to whether we're going to, grant the application at hand?
We're actually granting two variation,
Variances, yep.
two variances.
A side yard and a rear yard area variance, yep.
Right. All right, I propose that we approve a side yard and a rear variance as specified in the agenda,
In the application here, okay.
in the application.
So it's an 8.8-foot side yard variance and a 14.5-foot rear yard variance.
Right.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your application has been granted.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to the fifth item on the agenda this evening. This is the application of Gaspar and Christina Fiorenza. This is an application for a proposed two-car accessory garage with less than the required minimum distance between existing buildings and a front yard area variance for a proposed living room addition to be built over a pre-existing concrete patio to an existing one-family dwelling in an R10 residential district at 27 Bridge Lane, Yorktown Heights. Is someone here to represent the applicant? Sir, could you please come up and give us your name and address?
Good evening. My name is Gaspar Fiorenza, owner of 27 Bridge Lane.
Okay, thank you. Could you briefly describe your application, what you're asking for, and why it's necessary?
Oh, sure. My wife and I are proposing a
Property.
one-room addition and a two-car garage. Main reason being, there's no formal dining room or eating area in the existing house. So we would like to build a one-room addition, use that as a living room, and use the existing living room as the dining room. And the two-car garage there's no garage on the property. I would like my wife and I to park in the garage.
Okay. Now, this is also an R10 district. How many square feet is this lot?
1,050 is the home.
No, is the whole lot, is the
The
property.
whole lot is
You know the property size?
10,000 square feet,
Pretty close.
Pretty close to 10,000?
11,000 square feet.
11,000.
Pretty close to the road.
Oh, it looks like 100 by 110. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Right.
So 11,000 square feet. Okay. Let me just get this. It's a minute to get our bearings here.
Take your time.
Yep.
Are lots 57 and 57A included in lot? This
Uh,
lot 57?
Yes, yes, it is.
57B include 57 and 57A?
Yes.
Everything in this is, yeah. Tommy, could you explain to me,
Patio.
let me see here. Less than the required minimum distance between existing buildings. What's required by the code, the minimum distance between the buildings?
It's half the height of the taller adjacent building, and or in no case less than 10 feet. So the restrictive is 10 feet in this instance.
Okay, so the minimum would be 10 feet,
Mhm.
and he's proposing only 6 feet.
Correct.
Okay. What is the reasoning behind the 10 feet? I mean, if, I think we've discussed,
I don't know, but it's not in tune with the state code for separation in this case.
what is the state code?
It's like 3 feet. It's if it,
It's for fire purposes, right?
yeah.
It's to separate in case one building catches.
And yeah, and accessibility and other things, but
I mean, you don't want to have something too narrow you can't walk through or somebody gets stuck, obviously, but, okay, 6 feet is, yeah, okay. All right, I'm just trying to,
We did a 6 feet.
It always begs the question, like, one can attach it at some point in time, but it's nicer to do a separate structure. And the lot is small.
right, because they attached it
and
with
the
breezeway.
setback would be, if it were attached, it would be 15 feet versus 5 feet
Yeah.
as an accessory.
Yep. I take no issue with the distance between the two buildings.
Okay, and this,
There's no room on the other side to really move it.
Yeah.
No.
Is the existing driveway staying? Because I noticed it's off the corner.
Yes, yeah, so the existing driveway will be staying and it will, a little bit of asphalt will be added, about 1.5 feet on an angle.
So that it covers,
So that it could be pulled out, yes,
okay,
but just towards the garage area, not all the way up.
okay,
okay. Where it's dotted,
Yes, yes.
okay.
I might put it on a 45,
and that's a 2-car garage. There's not going to be living space above the garage.
no, just storage.
Just storage area, okay. 2-car garage, okay, I see what you're doing there.
It would be proposed as a 1-story building. It would be attic.
Would just be attic space, right, yeah, okay, okay. I assume the garage building with siding roofing would match the main structure?
Yes,
Oh.
also the gable roof will match.
Okay, so everything, okay.
Yep.
You may have previous application, it's nice when
Yes,
everything kind of, yeah,
that's also another reason why I want to do the addition for the living room, because of how it sets back, the front setback, it steps back 14 feet. I want to make it all uniform. I think it would look better from the curb.
okay. Now,
So the concrete patio that you're talking about is the one that's on here?
Yes,
It's going to be turned into a room.
yes, correct.
oh, it says existing bluestone patio. I was going to ask, where was the addition? Okay, now I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's over here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The front of the house is already non-conforming. I just want to match what's already there.
Okay.
This doesn't exist, right?
Right.
So that's
And what are you going to put in the concrete patio?
It'll be one room, 14 feet by 20 feet, and it'll be a gable roof just like that's on the right side. It'll match. So it'll be 2 gables on each side, and a
Nice.
shed roof in the middle.
Okay. And is that going to be a dining room or a living?
Going to be a living room, and the existing living room will be the new dining room.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. How many bedroom house is this?
2?
Okay. You're not adding any bedrooms to the house?
No,
Okay.
Is there any landscaping planned in front?
it's grass. I'll put some bushes. There's already an existing walkway.
I see the engineering department letter that a wetland and water course protection permit.
Yes, for the garage, I believe that was
Right.
for.
So what does that entail?
I think they were saying that they're not sure if it will need it yet or not. So they were talking about something with holding payment in escrow in case I need it. I could pay to get it done.
What it means to me is I don't issue a building permit until I get a thumbs up from the planning.
Okay, because here in this July 26th letter, it says it will be required.
I mean, is there a stream there or wetlands or
There's wetlands behind the property.
in the back?
Okay, so that's.
Oh, so that's what they're, okay. I was gonna say there must be some wetlands, something that's triggering this. Okay.
They'll yeah, they'll decipher what is entailed in the issuance of those permits if the applicant's successful getting passed here.
So I guess he's close enough to wetlands, which is why this, why.
Yeah, they're concerned about the increased impervious surface and that it doesn't run off. They'll probably mandate some infiltration practices and they have to meet separation distance from other septic and everything else.
Oh, I see. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep. Okay. Now I kind of get what they're doing here. Okay. Where is your septic and well on the property?
And so it's behind the bedrooms in the back where you see how it L's, that room towards the back?
Mhm.
It's under there in the beneath the shed with an access door.
He's got a municipal water supply there.
Oh, he does.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say, what's up? The wetlands.
The wetlands are probably about 100 feet behind my house, I would say.
That's the magic number, 100 feet.
They would be back into lot 57 and 57.
Behind that, yeah. That's part of his property though, yeah.
Yeah.
Have your neighbors spoken to you about this application or?
I've spoken to all of them. They all seem pretty friendly.
And-
We just bought the house back in June, so
Okay, okay.
Now, where is the garage going?
on the right side at the end of the existing driveway.
See the driveway here? He's put it right over it.
I see.
The neighbor on that side is very, very nice.
Good.
Yeah, this drawing best shows it right there.
Oh, yeah,
Existing
you got it.
driveway
Yeah,
and then
okay,
there,
you
he has
see.
to extend the asphalt a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
And then the new existing there. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let me see here. You know, I realize with these smaller lots, you're kind of limited in what you can, you know,
What you can do.
it's tight to fit things, yeah. So you need a side yard and rear yard area variance. Okay, to legalize an existing deck.
That's the,
That's old.
I'm sorry,
Oh, that's
I'm
the
not looking
old-
at the wrong one here. Like, what am I mean, it doesn't make sense. Application, right, two-car garage with less than required minimum distance, right, between the buildings. Proposed living room, and then a front yard area variance for a proposed living room addition to be built. Okay.
So that addition towards Bridge is going to be level with the front of the house?
Yes, it's already not
Out.
conforming by about 4 or 5 feet.
Okay,
So it's just gonna match.
and then you're just gonna extend
Yes.
towards the other side, an extra, what are we saying that is?
No, 2, 3 feet.
Now,
Okay.
the garage is standing alone?
Yes.
And what would this little alleyway in between the house garage
That will be so there's a fence.
be?
There's a small fence at the end of the property. That's going to be a walkway to the backyard. Because on the right side, it's a little close to a fence that's there for a walkway. The left side between the primary and the detached garage would be a lot better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And with this garage, we don't have a side yard variance needed?
got 5 feet.
We have 5
That's
feet.
all we need, right? 5 feet.
I should be about 6 feet away.
Okay. Yeah, because yeah, these lots are smaller and they have smaller setbacks.
Yep.
So obviously. Okay. Why don't we open this up to the public and see if anybody wants to speak in regard to the application? Okay, Denise and Paul, can we put up the phone numbers on the screen? Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Any comments? Nope. Okay, we'll put it up online, see if anybody comments on it. I assume you're gonna have to reside the whole house, right? Is that the,
I won't have to reside the whole house. It'll be matching.
you can match it?
siding, yes.
Okay. Same thing with the roofing shingles, you,
Oh, yeah. I'll match the shingles and the pitch. Well, as close as I can.
okay. Are you doing the construction work?
I am, yes.
Okay.
God bless.
It looks like you're getting the permits first, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to do it the right way.
Okay, yeah, okay, yes,
From the one who came.
yes, all right, so we have improvement, that's good. All right. Okay, Denise, nobody getting on?
No.
Okay, let's close it down. Um, last chance for members of the audience. Anybody wishes to speak? Nope. Okay. Further comments from board members?
I'm in favor of the application. I think it's making good use of a small space and it definitely does improve the aesthetic of the property. It's also a very close property to the road that the garage and enclosing is a safety concern for me too. So I think it enhances the safety by adding the detached garage.
I think you kind of made a silk purse out of it too.
Thank you.
Looks good.
Appreciate it.
I would, I don't know what the math is, but I would say no more than the existing building in terms of coming into the front yard setback.
Yeah, I think that's what's proposed.
Yeah, I think it is. I just wanna,
Yeah.
I'd want that to be clear.
Yeah, he's not gonna bump that out.
Yeah,
It's gonna match the front of the house.
yeah, I would
Right.
condition that.
I think they would want to come any closer to Bridge
No,
Lane.
I don't imagine they would.
Right, it would look odd too, I think, on the house. Yeah, it would look better if you match the front of the house. Okay, any further comments or questions by the board?
I don't know if anyone has an opinion about the landscaping in front since we're so close to the road. Whether it would make sense to be more uniform or something.
Where's the house here? Is that?
Right behind that.
Yeah, so this is the addition right here. You can see the addition here, have a mix of some privet and a couple trees and a couple other things, and then some arborvitae's and kind of, it's not quite that uniform for being something close to the road. But I don't, only if the board has an opinion.
What's your intent regarding landscaping in front of the house?
Keep
Is changing things,
keep the grass cut every week.
but what about like other plants
The
and
screening part, the arborvitae's and the small bushes and trees.
Well, I'm not sure what how the image looks from the street, but I take care of those bushes, and I'm gonna try to make it a little private. Yes,
Yeah, so this is July 23. So you bought after that, you're saying, and it's been.
yes,
approved?
yes. This June.
Okay, so that would,
Be
it
improved.
may have already, he may have already done something. Okay,
Well, let's not further compliment or
Yeah.
don't make it any more complicated than it really is.
fair enough.
He's doing a good job.
Okay. Sir, do you have anything else you'd like to say to us at this point in time?
No.
Okay. I think it's time for a vote.
Yep.
Can we hear a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion with whether we're going to grant the application? I think Bart, you said there was a condition that that what you said though?
I was saying that, that they not go into the front yard setback more than the existing structure.
Okay. Do you want to maybe make the motion then?
Sure, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but it's, I would, I'd like to make a motion, to grant a variance, for
This is,
the two houses, two structures to be, is it 4 feet? I mean, it's proposed. 10'6". Okay, so I think it's I'd like to make a motion, that, the required minimum distance between the two structures, be 6 foot rather than 10 foot, which is required. And I'd like to also move that we grant a front yard variance, and with an approximate relief amount of 4'3", but no more than, the house is not to project any more than the existing structure on the property, the addition.
I think that's clear.
I think.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. DiPolito? Mr. Hardin?
Aye.
Mr. Lansky?
Aye.
Mr. Padavani?
Aye.
Chairman Canestra?
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Your application has been granted.
Thank you for your time. Good night.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Paul, if you just pass that agenda back to me.
This one?
Yeah, that and the one. Thank you. Okay, so then the last item for us tonight is the approval of the July 16th, 2024 minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Any questions, comments, or changes?
No.
Nope. Okay, so we'll vote by just a verbal approval. All in favor of approving the July 16, 2024 minutes?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? No. Okay. All right, so the minutes have been approved, Denise.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I believe our next meeting is October 15th, 2024 here in the townhouse.
Yep.
Should be the third Tuesday of the month. I think I have that right.
And we do have an applicant.
And we do have an applicant. Okay. Do you know what the applicant is in regarding?
It's help me, Tom. I went blank. They're one of the developers in town wants to buy the piece of property, to build a house, and I'm sorry, it's all sitting on my desk,
That's okay, Denise.
but
I-
it's,
It's all right.
what I was really fishing for is if it was just a special exception use permit for accessory apartment. I
oh,
might
no,
push
no,
it a
no,
month.
no.
I would
No,
push it
and
a
this
month and not
guy-
have us all come in for just that. So,
No, and this guy really, really, really wanted to get on tonight's agenda and he just couldn't pull it off. So
Okay.
I really need to leave it on October.
that's fine. Perfectly fine. Yep. No, I just want to make sure that we're,
Yeah,
Well,
no, I
we may have-
wouldn't.
We
pull
may
you-
have the applicant who is due to come back to us tonight.
right.
No,
they-
honestly, he can't because the deadline to get on that agenda was last Friday.
Oh, and he's got to get
Oh.
architectural plans. That's
Yeah,
okay.
so
Okay.
I'm thinking November for him.
Would that be a carryover though? Or no?
No, he was just asking for an opinion tonight. Yeah.
Well, his application is
His-
still
his
open because
Yeah.
there was no vote taken.
Yeah,
You-
So-
I think it's a
He asked for additional
carryover.
Information.
Right.
He has to come back.
Yeah, so, but he doesn't, there's not the notice requirements, so
Right.
we can likely see him in
He
October.
doesn't need full-blown architectural plans, just elevations and floor plan.
Yes. Right.
That he might be able to come up with that now and then.
Okay.
The other thing too is on that application, it was 3 variances because one was for the fact that his house was built after 1992.
Well, this structure that being proposed did not receive a permit prior to 1992. So that's what is,
Oh, right,
the apartment's not proposed to be within the existing dwelling. It's proposed to be a
correct.
proposed building.
Right. And I think it's important because of the circumstances we're considering this.
Hmm.
Because without these circumstances, I don't think we should be or could be considering it.
The other two, the height and the story, probably should be separate. I'm trying to think if the height variance also encapsulates the story section of the code. talks about a 1.5 story maximum, but it also puts a,
Yeah,
Uh,
there's two
you know,
things. I think we vote on them independently.
Okay. Yeah, but he's got to give us the
Different-
plan so we know what we're doing.
The table.
Voting on, yeah, because we can't be voting on a vacuum here, you know,
right.
so, okay.
But is
All
that an addition?
It's a new building, new proposed structure.
No, I'm saying, is that an addition? Because what you just talked about is not on the application for tonight.
It's
Would
on
I
the-
need an amended application
on
and
this.
fee?
No, because Tommy is saying, you know, it's maybe not just a height variance, but it's also a 2-story addition, which is not allowed in an
Shouldn't-
accessory structure.
And that's on the zoning chart that way.
It shouldn't be a notice issue because everyone's on notice about the height, so the 1.5 stories is integral to that. I think I would vote on them separately, but I wouldn't consider it to be a notice issue, and he's got to provide a new package anyway.
And it's addressed here, 1.5 versus 2 stories,
Mhm.
15 and to be determined.
All right, so we can move forward with the same application.
Yeah,
Okay,
All right,
all right, so Tommy, if he can get me what I need within the next,
20 minutes.
yeah, cause the part of the problem is I have to get the notice. Oh, I don't have to renotice.
no,
No.
Okay, if I don't have to renotice, that buys me more time. So Tom, maybe we could talk further about that. I think he might need a little bit more guidance. And if he needs not as much as he thinks he needs, then we can get him in October.
yeah, I think a site plan and elevations are what we need. He's gonna need full plans though to get his building permit,
Correct.
so I don't have to do
Mhm.
it all in the same shot, but that's up to him.
Yeah. Elevation and a floor plan.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right,
He can mark up the site plan for these purposes. He can mark up his survey the way he did.
right. Okay. I think with the zoning, we're gonna hold him up less than the architect and building it's gonna take, so, you know, so, yeah. Yeah, so, okay,
And the health
The
department.
health department for the septic.
The health department is amazingly slow.
Yeah. It's,
because
Don't
of,
tell anybody.
because of the, yeah, the bedroom, so he's, yeah, okay.
You have to be very young to make application.
Okay, any further discussion items or points?
No,
No.
I concur about the health department.
Okay, so we're gonna close the meeting now. Good night, everyone.